There was recently a fascinating article in the Guardian newspaper from the UK, written by Daniel Dylan Wray. He's questioning, and the whole thought piece that he wrote was, why are people in their 30s abandoning music? The premise here is that he has noticed that, friends that are a similar age to him that were voracious consumers of new music, going to concerts, experiencing music. Music was an intrinsic and deep part of their lives, started to fall out of the practice of even going to concerts. He's in the music or music reviewing business or industry, so he gets a lot of free tickets. And he's noticed that he can't give away even to some great festivals. He can't find anybody who'll take free tickets off of his hands. The claims that he makes as to why in your 30s you're tending to fall off the music bandwagon or the new music bandwagon, so to speak, is that things are changing. Most people in their 30s now are entrenched in a full-time job. They have less spare time, less free time. They're also, this is the time that many people decide to start a family. So children come along, you've got now even less time. But there's something else that's interesting with that piece and in my own thinking. Typically, most people, if you ask them, no matter what age they are, I don't care if they're in their 30s or in their 70s or 80s, which music, which songs, which performers today, at whatever age you're at, do you remember the most fondly or had the most impact on your life? And most people will typically say that it's music that they listened to when they were younger, right? What they were listening to in high school usually is deeply ingrained in people's psyche. So it's a very interesting thought piece. Do you tend to remember more the music that came before you got into your 30s than, things that you discovered later on in life? I go through these phases where I've always had ties to the music that I grew up with, and those things will never leave me. I will never stop listening to Rush. I will never stop listening to Pink Floyd. Not going to happen. But as the years have gone by, I've gone through phases of discovering new musical genres, and I tend to do a real deep dive into these things, whether it's free jazz or Japanese city pop from the 80s or whatever, subgenres of subgenres. And it's just something that's always fascinating and interesting to me. I started discovering some, classic African funk from the 60s and 70s. These things you get hooked on one of those or two good performers, or even just a couple of good cuts, and it's enough to make you want to find more. So I'm just wondering, what's your experience? What era of music in your life holds the most importance to you? And have you found the same thing, that people are starting, as they reach their 30s, are starting to get out of the music game? These days, of course, it's a little different than it was, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago for us that, were in our 30s at that time. Because now music has so much competition. You've got streaming services, you've got podcasts. People are consuming music on the go, in many cases more than when they're sitting at home. So I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts. I mean, what do you find? Have you found this is a similar thing? Maybe ask a group of your friends, no matter what age they are, what they've found. Are they attending concerts as much in their 30s or 40s as they were when they were younger? Or is that, fallen off a cliff and they just don't have the time or the wherewithal to do it anymore? Please keep the comments coming. I appreciate so much for you watching our videos. As always, have a good day.